Hi, I'm Simon Hinton. I'm a Baha'i from Australia, and I'm here in New Zealand at the North Island Baha'i Summer School in Hamilton. And it's my great pleasure today to interview the special guest speaker at the summer school, Giuseppe Robiati from Italy. Welcome to New Zealand and to the Baha'i Summer School.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. You know, it's quite far away from Italy.
Absolutely.
It's not behind the corner.
And you're here with your family.
Yes, I'm here.
What are your impressions of New Zealand so far?
Oh, I had only 2 or 3 days to go around. I rented a car when I arrived in Auckland, and I went to Rotorua and some other places. It's a fascinating country, very green, full of agricultural activities here. People so nice and gentle. It's another part of the world, I think. It's
Absolutely.
quite nice.
So the Baha'i Summer School is an annual event here, and people, I've come from Australia, you've come from Italy, so we've got people coming from all over the place. How did you come to be the special guest speaker here?
Well, you know, generally I am invited by committees of summer schools in Europe, and because we have summer schools also in Europe, because we have Baha'is all around the planet, in Italy, in France, in America, in Congo. And maybe someone from New Zealand heard my talk in one of these countries, and I received an invitation. And at the beginning I said, it's too far away, but my wife was very interested in looking this country, and she was all right.
So look, I'm sure our audience would be very interested to know a little bit about you and your life. You're an economist by training.
Yes.
And you're now CEO of a large company, I believe, and also an academic. Can you tell us a little bit about the diverse work that you do?
Yes, you know, my business is to be the CEO of a big company producing bridges and viaducts in Italy, in Brazil, in Angola. And I had a conference in one of these universities, and the conference was well accepted by the academic people, and they asked me to repeat such a conference. And after a short time, they offered me a chair on ethics and economy towards a new world order, and I accepted. And on a weekly basis, I spent a day in this very far away town, Bari, which is south of Italy, and I'm very happy about it.
Well, it's a fascinating idea to have a chair on such a topic. So you're a Baha'i, your family are Baha'is. How did you become a Baha'i? When did you become a Baha'i?
Yeah, you know, this is a long story. I have to make it short. So I was born in Africa because my father and my mother went to Africa during the Second World War, following the Mussolini, who was the dictator in Italy. And I was born in Africa, in Ethiopia. And I've been there for about 18 years, doing all my studies down there. I'm coming from a Catholic background, and I've studied for about 8 years with the high-level academic people, the Jesuits, which is in the Catholic Church, are the highest, the scholars. And I became a Baha'i because, you know, one day someone was talking to us about the Baha'i Faith. And in the place when I was living in Ethiopia, there were 5 main religions: the Jewish, the Catholic, the Coptics, the Muslims, and the Orthodox. And you know, when you have 5 different religions, they were fighting each other. So I had many friends among these communities. And each one of them were saying that the truth is only with them. So one day we met a young man who was a Baha'i, and he told me, you know, Mr. Robiati, in those days I was a child, was not Mr. Robiati. I was Beppe. My nickname is Beppe, B-E-P-P-E. He said, you know, Beppe, God is only one, and religion is only one, and people is only one. I said, come on, what are you trying to say? Yeah, it's like the sun. The sun is only one, and the rays of the sun are like the religions. So, you know, for me, it was really, he opened my eyes, and I said, I like this religion. And I was 16 years old. And then I joined the Baha'is at the beginning just to be friends with them. But later on, going into the writings of the founder of the Baha'i Faith, whose name is quite difficult for the foreigners, for the Westerners, Bahá'u'lláh, which means the glory of God. He's the founder, he's a title he had. Going into his writing, I really found an ocean. And all my ideas about even the future of this humanity, the world order, Baha'u'lláh is bringing a principle of unity of mankind. how do we reach this unity on this planet?
So at the summer school, I've been privileged to sit and hear you speak a few times now in the extraordinary plenary sessions each morning you're giving.
These two great branches of knowledge. The one coming from the heart, which is the spiritual knowledge, which is the fun, which is the mystical part of the Baha'i Faith, and the earth, which is coming from science. Science and religion should be equal, should have equal opportunities.
You know, a fascinating thing is how you've been able to bring together your personal experience as a Baha'i and your professional knowledge as an economist and as a businessman, as an academic together. And really you've been speaking to us, I guess, about the future of the world, unfolding of human civilization from a Baha'i perspective. And I'm interested how, as an economist, you feel about talking about the future at this time where, for a lot of people, the world economy, you know, has their faith in the world economy has really been shaken by the turmoil in the economic markets and these things.
Yeah, you know, the problem is that there is a reason. You know, the planet is going on in stages. At the beginning, we were just individuals. Then, for necessities, they came together and they formed families and communities. For necessities, they became tribes, they became villages, they became city-states. The Roman Empire, which was a big empire, was organized as a city-state. Then they became empires, and then we became nations. So the problem is that we have on the planet today 220 nations about, and we have world problems. Each nation is trying to solve the problems by its own. But the problems are worldwide. So we have to find a solution to find the same solutions. And the problem is that we have to face today that we cannot solve the problems with 220 different systems, each one relating to each nation. So the problem is to come together and just to analyze the problem and to find a common solution. So we will not find a solution if we will not have all the nations sitting together. So Bahá'u'lláh, who is the founder of the Baha'i Faith, because he brought the teaching of unity, he also gave some ideas and some tools and instruments to reach the point. For example, one of the points is that we have to sit together and to find common system to solve the problems. One of the idea is to have an international monetary system in order that the speculations on currencies will come to an end.
So this would be something like the euro was adopted for Europe. You're talking about a world currency.
Yes. You know, the European Union is just an example of what I'm saying, because from 6 nations in the 50s, now we are 27. And from different currencies and different laws and different passports and different ideas, now we have one common passport, we have one common currency, we have one common tribunal. Some of the points have been already fixed. So this should be happen exactly with the rest of the world. And slowly, in some generations, we will have a world currency, we will have a world tribunal, we will have a world government.
What would you say to those cynics who say, look, this is impossible, this is an impossible dream that these countries will ever be able to reach agreement on such fundamentally important issues?
You know, the problem is the age of the nations. If you talk with a teenager, you cannot talk with him with high academic level. You have to talk with him in the way he can understand. So we have now some nations who are in a certain level and other nations who are coming up. So it's very difficult to have a common desire or a common way of solving problems. We must be patient. So, for example, China is only 20 years that it's on the air. Before, nobody knew what China was doing. It was a closed country. Due to the Mao Zedong activities, China was a Marxist country, was totally closed to the rest of the planet. In 20, 25 years, 30 years, it became the country of the future. But the education of the people in China is still 40 years ago. So talking with the Chinese on the same level is not easy today. So we will need many meetings during the next years in order that the people will be faithful in the people of the other countries, and slowly, through a consultation. This is one of the most important. You know, we have coming from different style of life. The US, the European, and the Chinese, they are coming from different experiences. So it's impossible in a short time to put these experiences together. They must watch themselves for a certain time, they start talking, they start solving small problems, then the problems will become higher, and so this is the way that humanity will solve the problems, with a consultation.
Giuseppe, I wanted to ask you about the concept of a new world order. It's a term you've used, and I've heard you use during the summer school. And it's a term that I guess has been used recently by politicians around the world. Yeah. But I think that you're using it, maybe the Baha'i concept of a new world order is different to the way it's being used by politicians in the world today. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your perspective on this idea of a new world order?
Yes, you know, the word new world order was for the first time on this planet written by the founder of the Bahá'í Faith, Bahá'u'lláh, in his writings. This, we have to go back to the 1868, 1870. So it's about 150 years ago. Someone with such a difficult name, he came with such a strong ideas about unity of the planet. And of course, the New World Order is are the words that he used just to give us an idea of the future. So the New World Order is not the goal of the Baha'i Faith, but it's an instrument. It's an instrument that in the future of the planet, the people will be used to reach unity. So in the New World Order, we have to, analyzing the writings of Baha'u'lláh, the founder of the Baha'i Faith, we see that there are three main channels where he's working on. The first one is on the individual. We cannot have a united planet if the people does not understand that there is only one species on the planet, and this is a human being. But there are differences in the human being, secondary differences, he says. Color of the skin, religion, the place where we were born. He says that the people of the planet are like the flowers of a garden. Different colors, different perfume, they also grow at different times during the year. But they drink the same water from the gardener. So one channel where Baha'u'lláh is telling us that we must become world citizen, a citizen of the same planet. And this is not easy, because the people generally have traditions. And in some of the traditions, we cannot understand the unification of the planet. One of the banners of Baha'u'lláh is, the earth is but one country and mankind its citizen. So you know, the Baha'is generally, they use such a beautiful sentence, but we have to analyze the sentence in the political realm, the political way. You know, Baha'u'lláh is speaking about citizenship. Just to make an example, I'm an Italian citizen, and because I have an Italian passport. Because I'm an Italian citizen, many things are granted to me. So studies, education, health organization. If I'm ill, I go to a hospital, they will take care of me. Only because I have an Italian passport, because I'm an Italian citizen. But someone who is living in Bangladesh or in Burundi, they don't have such items granted by law. So when Baha'u'lláh speaks about citizenship of the world, this means that in any place you will be born, you will have the same grant. Education, health organization, job, and pension. So you see how long time we will need to enter into this idea. And this is on an individual level. This is the first channel. The second channel is that the nations of the planet should come together and talk and consult and try to cut the political borders and leave only geographical borders, because the people is like the flowers of a garden.
So, I mean, you're talking about things that are for the future, and I guess a lot of people would feel those are very idealistic. But obviously, you're a man, a practical man as well. You work in the area of business. I'm interested in what you see as the role for Baha'is working now. I mean, obviously, you're working towards those future ideals. Yeah. You're a member of the National Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of Italy, I believe, which is the main governing body for the Baha'is of Italy. On that kind of practical level of Baha'i administration, How do you see the Baha'i community working towards those ideals?
Yeah, when I went to Italy, it was in the 60s. The Baha'i community was a very small community of 200 Baha'is. Now we have a few thousand, and all Italians. And Italy is a Catholic country, so it's not easy for the Italians to leave the Catholic Church and become Baha'i. But you know, when you become Baha'i, you not deny your previous religion, because all the religions are coming from the same God. So I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Buddhist, I'm Hindu. Of course, I'm not part of any church, but I accept the founders of those religions. This is the same as a college.
So Italian Catholic Baha'is are not denying Christ by becoming
absolutely
Baha'is?
No. They really they fully accept the idea that Jesus Christ was a strong manifestation of God. You know, we are Baha'is only because before Bahá'u'lláh there were Muhammad, Jesus Christ, and Zoroaster, and Buddha, and Krishna, and many thousands, Baha'u'lláh says. And Baha'u'lláh is not the last one, because in the future we will have needs, and God will provide for other teachers. We call them manifestations of God.
If you've just joined us, I'm Simon Hinton. I'm here at the North Island Baha'i Summer School in Hamilton. And my guest today is the special guest speaker at the summer school, Giuseppe Robiati, who's come from Italy. So, Giuseppe, we talked a little bit about your academic work as well, which you've found yourself moving into the academic world as well, I believe, as the chair of ethics and economics towards a world order at the University of Bari in southern Italy. I'm interested really in what this means, ethics and economics towards a world order. What could you teach in that area? It sounds a fascinating area.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about ethics, it's not so easy to define what ethic is, because ethics generally is coming from religious belief. You know, all the religions have brought moral teachings, but mainly all the religions of the planet have brought 4 main teachings, and you also find in the 10 Commandments. Do not steal, do not kill, say the truth, and use your sexual energy in a balanced way. These are the main 4. So in the 10 Commandments for the Christian, the 4th about sexual problems, is don't take the wife for somebody else. So just to be clear. In Italy it's not so easy. So the problem is that on a personal basis this is very clear. But the problem is that we are living in a planet where these 4 main laws should be applied on a high-level system. Just to make an example. Do not kill. Of course, everybody on a personal level, they know that they cannot kill his friend. But we are talking about governments. How many governments are killing populations outside their country? You see? So this law on a personal basis has to be taken to a wider level, because we are becoming a big planet. Let's make another example about sexual problems. In the commandment you say that if you have a wife, okay, you keep your wife with yourself and don't take the wife of somebody else. Now, this is quite clear for us, but let's talk about the children. We have 1,500,000,000 children on the planet. How many of them are sexually abused? Because this is related to this value on a personal basis. But no one other than the last founder of a religion, who is bringing the idea of unity of mankind, so putting together 2,000 different races, many different religions, many different resources. He has to give a new idea how these 4 main values should be applied. So at the university, I generally go back to these 4 main religions on a personal basis, and I'll show with examples how these 4 main laws are not applied into the economy practical way. You know, the last financial crisis mainly was related to you should not steal money from somebody else. How do you apply to a financial institution? There are not laws relating to the worldwide. You know, we have countries like the Arab country with the OPEC. They don't pay taxes.
So this is really, you're talking about a lack of regulation.
Lack of regulation, lack of international regulation. There is no one
But seeing
international
that,
body.
So rather than seeing that as a political or sort of governmental problem, you're saying this is a spiritual problem because the spiritual principle hasn't been applied.
Yeah, we know that the spiritual principles on a personal basis is clear on our theoretical mind. But when you have to apply it on a practical basis, you generally don't follow your spiritual understanding. So what Baha'u'lláh is telling us that your spiritual understanding should be followed by service, to do it on a practical way. And you have to put it on three main levels: on a local basis or personal, on a national basis and international basis.
Giuseppe, we've been talking about some very big ideas, and I guess we've been talking about how you see the future unfolding in terms of the application of these spiritual principles on a large scale. We've been talking about companies, nations, the world. I guess maybe to bring it back to a personal level. Yeah. You're a family man. I've met some of your wonderful family are here with you. How do you, as a family, apply these spiritual principles, being a Baha'i?
Yeah, I go back to one of the definitions of coming from the writings of Baha'u'lláh, the founder of this faith I joined so many years ago. You know, he has a very nice definition of a human being. He says that human being is a mine of gems of inestimable value. A mine of gems of inestimable value. So you, as a journalist, the people living in New Zealand, those living in China or any place, they are mine of gems of inestimable value. What are these gems? These gems are the inner qualities, the inner values each one of us have, but because we didn't have the right education, they're still there. When you want to dig a mine, because the diamonds are down there, you have really to dig, and it makes difficulties. You need tools. So Baha'u'lláh is telling us that we have gems inside us, which has spiritual qualities. We have to take them out and use for our better living and for the better living of the society. So education is one of the most important ideas to be applied today. I generally say that we have many gems, but we have three gems in common. Everybody on the planet have fantastic gems, but three are in common. And we have to work on these three because the three gems are connecting each one of us with the rest of the planet. First gem we have: nobody of us could live, nobody of you could live without love and without being loved. And this is the teaching of the religion since the beginning of the life on the planet. So the first thing to be taught in a family is love. It's not only love for the parents or love for the sisters and brothers, but love for the life, love for the justice, love for the art, love for the music. This is the first one. So when the love is working and you love someone, you love your partner, the second gem is coming, and the gem says that if I love you, I want to do something for you free of charge. And this is called service. We need to serve people around us, people in the family, because this service is something that united the heart, and this is the third gem. When you love and you serve, the hearts comes together, and the concept of unity is coming. The same in the family. If you do it on a daily basis, with wisdom, of course, you will have strong results. And these values are the main values we have developed. Today, the people should like to give themselves free of charge for purposes. So we have doctors who go into the war areas, so people going to the hospital to help people who have difficulties. You know why? Because the concept of service, one of these gems, is coming out. We want to do something for the rest of the planet free of charge. They do it on voluntary basis. This is part of one of these gems. We have to analyze the three gems together and put them online just to help the planet from the family level to grown up to the worldwide level. You know, in the idea of Baha'u'lláh, Summer School is a school where the people learn this idea we are talking about now, so about the future of mankind, which is not a dream, it's coming slowly, about values, how to have good friends of different races. You know, Mikhail Gorbachev was taking the concept of Baha'u'lláh about that the earth is but one country. He was saying that the earth is a house now. It's a house where we have different rooms and the people is living in different rooms. The only thing we should do is just to keep the doors open so that people can go from one room to another and meet each other and understand that they have the same values.
So what do you say then to people in New Zealand? New Zealand's very diverse, as you know. This is a challenge then in a place such as New Zealand where you have such diversity to try and put these principles into practice.
You know, for me, I was really surprised. It's the first time I come to New Zealand, and really, I'm really astonished. This is a melting point of so many races. So I think New Zealand is a good example of what Bahá'u'lláh is telling us about the future of mankind. My suggestion to the people living in New Zealand that you already got a good point, that you can really live with so different races, people coming from different races. Maybe we have to jump now to a new level of consciousness that we have one species of humankind, but also religions are coming from the same God. So if we will be a melting point of different religions coming from all these countries, and we will believe that religion is really one, I think that New Zealand can teach to the rest of the planet such a beautiful principle.
Well, on that very inspiring note, I thank you very much for being our guest today, and I hope the rest of your time in New Zealand with your family is a happy one, and we hope we'll see you back here in this part of the world again soon.
Thank you so much.